There's something uniquely special about motorsport. I've never known one thing to be able to pull so many different people from so many different walks of life together, and they get so moved, so carried away by it, and it gives people a real sense of purpose.
The Toyota series is absolutely stunning. It's known internationally all around the world. I think there's like 4 or 5 drivers in Formula One right now that have been through the Toyota series, and it gives the Kiwi drivers an opportunity to compete with some of the best single-seater drivers at this level.
The advantage of this competition is win 5 weeks in a row in January and February. So that's the perfect timing for those drivers where testing is not available in Europe or in the US. Across those 5 weeks, they're going to do more than 3,000 kilometers. The winner of the championship here, he can collect 18 super license points. If he goes to Europe on the end of the season, if he won both championships, he has his Formula One super license point.
Great start from both of them on the front row.
The reason you get international teams and drivers coming down is this is a proper championship. This is not your backyard drivers. These are young men and women who are already in professional teams, and they get the chance to do it again in a better environment. How could you not love being down here in Central Otago to start a series off? That's what it's all about.
So we basically take care if the car is in the good shape. We need to figure out how to set up the car for the best conditions, for the conditions and the track. Also, the driver needs its own adjustment on the setup, so not all the cars are the same. And then we do a lot of work in driving. How can we improve every corner, how we go on throttle, how we brake, and how we take the corners. In Europe, you see a lot of trucks and it's a bunch of hospitalities and looks like more professional, but once you sit in here and work with these guys, you realize the methodologies are the same. Tracks are a bit smaller here, you can tell, but otherwise it's just racing. At the end, it's the same.
Here we go then. Out go the lights and away we go. Good start from the poleman Hedge. Charlie Wirtz got away well off the line. What about a name to bring? Charlie Wirtz, his dad, of course, a Formula One star and a Toyota star in his later days.
They're all in the same tents. I mean, there's fuck all behind.
Callum Hedge into the forest then. Starting to put the head down and starting to push on. Doing an excellent job so far. Oh, mistake from Sheehan. Oh, Sheehan goes very wide. That's going to bring out the safety car.
Race radio, red flag, red flag.
Callum Hedge will now lead the procession. Hedge does it at Highlands and does it in style.
I'm a first generation racer, don't come from a racing background at all. Up until I was about 6, I was playing rugby, made the jump pretty quickly to go-karting as I was doing sort of both of them at the same time. So then eventually we realised that the racing was getting a bit more expensive as we sort of moved up into the older classes of karting. So we made the decision as a family to move to Auckland and pursue as much work as they could so that they could support me. Really owe everything to them.
Out go the lights and away we go. And a good start from the front row, very impressive indeed, but also jostling for position. Oh no! That's Skeets, Liam Skeets in the 23, and there's damage to the front wing by the looks of it.
It was just driver error, a matter of just pushing too hard too early in the race on cold tyres. So that place on the track where it's so fast, it's so hard to recover. And when you get on the grass, it's very hard to stop when the wall's that close.
It's a huge setback after race 2 for Liam Skeets. There's only a couple of hours to race 3. more importantly for Liam, if they do get it ready, to bounce back from that mentally is often a very big challenge.
Lost a bit of pride there. The boys will get it repaired. I mean, great team of people and very professional, and we'll be back out there in race 3.
Try and never miss a race. Plenty enough people here, good qualified people to do the job, you know, so it'll happen.
Yeah, it's more of a team sport than what people think it is. People think it all comes down to the driver, but it's really not that. It's the whole team. Working with a professional team like M2 competition in such a professional environment for the first time has really opened my eyes, just, you know, how vital it is to have a good team around you.
Fucking close, mate, like seriously, about as in it was seconds, I think, eh? Yeah, really. It was important because they do so much work to get here, so, you know, you've got to try your most hardest to get them back out.
Out go the lights, and away they go. Morales gets a flyer. Morales is leading. What a start!
It's just such a good experience out here. Like, what you learn are things that you're going to carry your entire life. Already, I've been here for only 4 days now, and I've learned so much. And the experiences that it has given me, the confidence, and what you learn here is way better than anywhere else, honestly.
Here comes the 77, red, white and blue, South Florida man, now in New Zealand, making a name for himself, and will take the first feature race victory by a country mile as he heads towards the checkered flag and takes it in style.
I'm here to win, but mainly here to learn. The winning will come once I learn.
Wirtz does hold on to second place. Skeets holds on to third.
That was awesome. After what happened in race 2, to bounce back like that, it feels so good, and it feels good to also reward the team like that. M2, it was a hustle for them to be able to get the car back out there, and they did it. So yeah, I'm happy to just repay them of that.
What I love about motor racing is obviously driving race cars, but as well I like the camaraderie between everybody. Physically it's extremely demanding. It's like playing a tennis match at 300 k's an hour. There's just so many things to master, and that's why it's so addicting, because there's just so much to improve on every single day.
I'd recommend this to every driver, to be honest. 2019 sort of kickstarted my career. I was at this track here in the first weekends, and we led after the first weekend, and that's when I got my Red Bull contract. So to be honest, I have this to thank for it. I was racing against a lot older guys, more experienced guys. It's a great way to learn from those guys as well.
For an international driver to come to New Zealand and enter this series, they cannot buy the car, of course. The car and the chassis and everything is leased from Toyota Gazoo Racing New Zealand. The drivers contract to the teams to run the car for them. Now that will cost around 230,000 New Zealand dollars for a driver to come here. If they were doing the same number of kilometres on the track in Europe, in say Formula 3 or something, it would cost them way over €1 million. It's a very cheap thing for them to do and drive what is internationally recognised as a stepping stone to Formula 1.
Out go the lights, away we go, and a great start from Charlie Wirtz. Wirtz takes the whole shot, but will Callum Hedge come back at him? Good start. I mentioned the outside, and Wirtz is keeping his foot in and has done it.
Charlie's dad is known to many people, Alex Wirtz. He drove for 3 big teams in Formula 1, Benetton, McLaren and Williams, famous outfits. That probably creates a bit of pressure being the son of somebody like that.
As Charlie Wirtz is definitely enjoying his front lead at the moment by 0.7. So that gap almost maintaining, and this is, well, I wouldn't say he's controlling the race, but he's doing a good job of holding that gap to Hedge.
My ultimate goal would be to be F1 World Champion, or the next Austrian F1 World Champion. Only very few drivers manage to make that step to Formula 1, but I know what it takes. I've been working very hard to train, physically, mentally, off track, work with the engineers to understand a bit better the engineering side of the car, all of that.
It's going to be Charlie Wirtz! A chip off the old block! Wirtz wins again!
It's very tough, but I know I've got what it takes. I just need to perfect everything.
Charlie Wirtz wins here in New Zealand. And now comes Jacob Abel to take third place, holding off Mason admirably. It's going to be an interesting season for Jacob Abel. He was 8th in Indy Lights last year and will take on the Indy Next Championship, as it's now called.
The competition here is really, really impressive. You know, I'm honestly one of the older drivers, and I have a little bit more experience than most of these guys, so I probably underestimated it a little bit, but you know, there's some really, really talented people. Obviously, Charlie Wirtz is leading the championship, and then Callum Hedge, a local guy here, is really strong, has a lot of experience at all these tracks. So just trying to compete with them too. You know, I'm currently 3rd in the championship, so trying to, you know, chip away at them and see where I can use my experience to my advantage. Yeah, Indy Next is basically F2 for IndyCar, essentially. So you have the road to Indy in the States. You know, a little bit different of a car than this for sure. You know, it's got a lot more horsepower, a lot more grip, but this car kind of takes me back to my basics a lot, being a lot smaller, more nimble, definitely a lot more technical car to drive.
Behind me is the F260 and is powered these days by sort of a hybrid Lexus engine. The engine produces about 270 horsepower and the car weighs 690 kilos, including the driver. So some drivers have to be ballasted to meet the weight limit. Top speed of the car is relative to which track it's on. It's around 240, 245 kilometers an hour. It is the most modern regional car you can get. Previous to that, we had the FT40 and the FT50s, and then we had to change to this car because of all the new modern regulations that Formula One were bringing in and the FAA were bringing in for other championships below. Hence, the car looks, in actual fact, as if you've got a Formula One car, you put it through a washing machine and it's shrunk, which is kind of effectively what it is, an aerodynamic dependent car.
3 races ahead of us, including the 67th Grand Prix. But put that out of your head, because there's a championship to be won and lost here, and a host of youngsters are in it to win it.
The New Zealand Grand Prix has such a prestige this weekend that it lures in drivers for the one-off event. We've got Chris Vanderdrift, Caleb Natoa, from overseas, Lawrence Van Hopen. Whoever wins gets their name etched onto the New Zealand Grand Prix trophy.
Charlie Wirtz leads the championship with 2:12. Callum Hedge, 6 behind on 2:06. Then Abel, with work to do from 12, is 3rd in the championship. Out go the lights and away we go! And a great start from Caleb Natoa. Boy, is he off to the races. What a great start by the Kiwi. Look at Natoa. He's leading the young Dutchman, who, by the way, I know he's come into the championship late, but I was looking at his record. You know, he does have that season under his belt of Formula Regional. He's also got an excellent season in Formula 3, and he's already run for the likes of Nico Rosberg, Charles Leclerc, and is already a protege of Nick de Vries.
My dad used to drive when he was younger, and then when I was 3 years old, a friend of him called if I want to come to the karting track and do some laps, and when I did, I absolutely loved it, and from there on out it just got worse and worse.
Lauren Van Hopen looking very, very good indeed. The Dutchman all over the Kiwi.
Of course, I have to go to school, which I don't like at all. Almost every day that I'm at home, I'm just training, mostly also bodyweight, because you have to stay lean, not to weigh too heavy, and then also a lot of cardio as well. Well, of course, I think like many others, my ultimate goal is to reach F1.
Caleb Natoa looking really good. He's taken the gap back up with that fastest lap.
Yeah, Martin, it's my hometown. It always will be my hometown. I'm very proud to be from there. My dad's got a workshop and we're famous for chicken and chips. Coming from a small town, you know everybody, you build a good relationship, and the support I get from there is amazing.
Caleb Natoa is back in New Zealand and back to winning ways. What a great result.
Last year I raced in the S5000 Championship in Australia. The competition was, top in the country, so they prepared me a lot for this event. My passion is single-seaters, so if I could find the support to go do that in America or Europe, I would go in a heartbeat.
28 laps of pure adrenaline and history in the making.
The New Zealand International Grand Prix is a world famous motorsports event. I went to my first Grand Prix in 1957. I was 7 years old. I've seen Jimmy Clark, Jochen Rindt, Dan Gurney, Bruce McLaren, Jack Brabham. There's a long history.
Zealand. It's our home country. It's one of only 2 championships in the world outside of Formula 1 which have a Grand Prix, because there's still one thing on my list that I have to tick off.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really, really cool, you know, competing in the New Zealand Grand Prix in front of, you know, hopefully a lot of fans.
And this is the most prestigious trophy in New Zealand. To get my name up there would be awesome. It's a dream.
We are ready to go racing for the 67th running of the New Zealand Grand Prix. Up go the Rams, on go the lights, out go the lights, and away we go. Good start from Van Hopen. He gets the jump. Away they go. Down towards the first corner, it's nip and tuck. Louis Foster coming back at him. Foster's got ahead. Foster takes the lead. It's Great Britain out front against Holland. Hedge is third. Good start from Foster. Oh, Natoa gets completely sideways in the 50. Van Hopen, what a move by the 17-year-old Dutchman. Look out now, forming for third place, and I think that's why Natoa is wanting the hurry up here. He wants to get ahead of Hedge and get with the leaders. I'll tell you what, the kid they call Larry, Lauren Van Hopen, is absolutely flying. Look at 1.4 seconds. And there's a big mistake from Natoa. Oh, they touch! Lauren Van Hopen is on his way to victory here. He has only been in the country less than a week, and he's going to win the New Zealand Grand Prix. He's done it! Van Hopen wins!
Yeah, unexpected really. It was a really tough fight from, but the kid's driven well.
For sure, amazing feeling to be quick like that. He has done an amazing job.
Yeah, I'm really, really happy. It was such a tough race, like especially the last 5 laps. Like I almost couldn't hold the steering wheel anymore. But I think we've done a really good job, and I'm super happy to take the win.
We're the only team that's been involved from the start of the series. Yeah, so it's quite special. So we're 18 years. Yeah.
My whole life is racing. My dad was a racer. I raced race cars, raced go-karts, trained as a mechanic with my father. Now I'm an owner, did some coaching. So I've done it all gamuts of the situation here. So it's really great to be able to be here and letting the younger guys and girls do all the racing.
I've learned a lot with Kia Motorsport. They taught me a lot how to really be really consistent. As like I said earlier, the championship, you have to be very consistent, and points mean a lot. But no, I think with Kia Motorsport, you know, they're very welcoming, which is nice, and they try and develop your skills even more.
It's a lot more professional now. Each of the teams have multiple drivers, where back when we first started, we just had one. Of course, now Toyota actually own the cars and prepare them for us. Back then, we actually owned our cars, so we would take them back to our workshop in Nelson and prepare them for the next round. So there's a lot of things that have changed.
It's been it's always a pretty tough championship. 5 weeks in a row, you know, even the drivers make the comment, you know, that it can be very mentally and physically demanding, 5 weeks on the trot, but that's what it's all about, you know, to build those strengths and prepare them. It's no different for the team, you know, the mechanics and engineers. But yeah, I probably am quite demanding, I must admit. We're always looking, obviously, thinking ahead. We all get contacts each year from driver managers and from drivers themselves who may be too young or unable to compete this year, but looking to the future to come over. Yeah, but it never stops. It's a 5-week series, but it's a 12-month job for sure.
M2 competition is, it's world renowned for being such a great team, especially here in New Zealand. It really, for me, it comes down to look good, feel good, play good. And a part of that is having a great professional environment around you. And yeah, really being able to have the opportunity and the tools to be able to go out there and stitch a good lap together.
We are actually made of, majority of people are from New Zealand, but we do have some European staff coming over every year as well. And the drivers come mainly from the USA, New Zealand, obviously, that's the most important, and Europe. what we do is just providing tools to the drivers to get better and to learn what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And we have done our job if they leave here having learned something, and if they go to their main series saying, I'm a better driver. For an engineer, you get your results week in, week out. You actually see the result of your work every week. If you go to a big company, it sometimes takes 5 years. So here, it's the thrill of it is quite fantastic on the engineering side.
The story of this championship has been about two men, really. It's been about Charlie Wirtz and Callum Hedge, two very, very different men coming up on different sides of the track, if you like.
Yeah, we're clear right from the start, from day one, that our goal is always to bring two drivers into this last round fighting for the championship. No team orders are involved, but there's strict policy until they lock out another competitor. Once that happens, the gloves are off.
And then there's the wild card, Jacob Abel. He's probably the veteran, if you will, of the field, but he's enjoying his first venture into international racing.
We currently have Jacob Abel sitting in third position in the championship. Obviously, like everybody, we're hoping for a real good weekend. The biggest thing is really not to have any mistakes or issues on track, and yeah, fight to the end.
3 races to go in this Titanic Championship for 2023. There's no question about it. The Castrol Toyota Racing Series is back, and we are delighted to bring it to you around the world. Out go the lights and away we go, and a great start from both of them on the front row. A good start by Foster, but a better start from Callum Hedge. He takes the whole shot. That is superb stuff by the young New Zealander. Somebody's hit the dirt, somebody's turned around. We've got 2 cars, Penrose, Bree Morris, 3 cars involved. That's going to bring out the safety car. Bree Morris, Penrose, and I don't know if it's Vicuri that's turned around. Oh, it's Abel! Oh no! That's the worst possible scenario for the young American.
Yeah, not much we could do there, and really hurts, but yeah, we'll move on. It's kind of a double-edged sword because it hurts us today, and then we have to start in the back tomorrow for race 2 as well. So hopefully we'll try and make the most out of it, but yeah, it definitely really sucks.
Here comes Callum Hedge. He comes into the Repco slipper for the last time, holding off Louis Foster of Great Britain. It's going to be Callum Hedge, and it's going to be Callum Hedge winning at Taupo to take the lead of the championship.
He can still, if things go well, hopefully at least finish third, maybe second. Tomorrow's a new day.
Can you say it on camera? Yeah, he's still comfortably third, but I mean we can't afford a repeat. He needs to head down and just get some good points in these next 2 races.
Each weekend, race 2 reverse the top 8 finishing positions from race 1. Therefore, if you win race 1, you start 8th. If you're second in race 1, you start 7th. And this puts the pressure on the front-running guys to hone their skills coming through a field. Conversely, this gives the mid-pack runners the opportunity to start up the front. Being the hunter is easier than being hunted. Being hunted is an awful feeling, but such a satisfying feeling if you manage to hold on and win the race.
2 races left. This is a reverse grid. The top 8 from race 1 are reversed, and what a moment for Chloe Chambers, just 18 years of age. Could this be the next female that we see at the higher level? We're about to find out if she can pull it off from pole position. Up go the revs. Out go the lights, away we go. Good start from Chloe Chambers in the monoflow car. A really good start from Caleb Nato, who's gone up the inside to chase her down, but it's going to be the American Chambers who leads.
My name is Chloe Chambers. I'm from Indiana in the United States, and I'm here racing in the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Championship.
Chambers is on new tyres. She's just done the fastest lap of 25.6. She is flying, and it's really good to see her confidence riding high at the moment out front.
I got into motorsport mainly through just you know, watching Formula One on TV with my dad, and that's kind of like what we did on the weekends, and I enjoyed doing it, but I got a little bored, and so I wanted to start racing myself, and I started off in go-karts in the United States.
She's never lacked any confidence, but these are new tracks and new places, and the fact that she's setting fastest lap after fastest lap, new rubber or no new rubber, she's still doing it, and she's still doing it under immense pressure.
It's fantastic. It's definitely highs and lows. You know, it's a lot of challenge, but it's Chloe's been racing since she was 8. So no, it's been fantastic to be able to do that with your daughter is really special.
Obviously, like, to have something that we can just do, like the two of us together, was super cool, and I think he enjoyed it a lot. He's enjoyed racing and coming to races with me, and you know, just us doing it together for you know, as long as I've been racing.
A huge amount of pride.
She was adopted from China as a youngster. Her mother hails from Texas, her father from the UK. They are going to be so proud. If there isn't a tear in their eyes, there's one in mine. What a day for Chloe Chambers. She goes for the perfect race from flag to flag. Chloe Chambers wins.
Yeah, for me, winning this championship means a lot. I've put a lot of work in over the last 4.5 weeks, so I really want to do my best and finish it off. Charlie's been fast, and Jacob's also been very consistent. There's been a lot of stuff where I think we've sort of haven't maximised it, but then there's also been stuff where it's been totally out of our control. So we're going to be pushing very hard. We need every point we can get, and we leave the battles on the track, and we're very good friends off.
The car has been really, really fast, and I think I'm quite happy with the track, quite happy with the car, so I know if I put it all together, I can definitely beat them. I'm not too worried. I just want to focus on the job. I mean, I have great mechanics and engineers to help me, so I know we can beat them.
A warm welcome once again to Topo International Circuit, where we get ready for the finale of the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Championship. There are just 2 drivers who can win the series.